For stopping by another live episode of Real Estate Titans. In fact, this is the 50th episode of Titans Live, so thank you so much for everybody for the love and support. Really appreciate you. I am your host, Greg Fowler, traveling throughout the marketplace, interviewing the top real estate professionals in our field, from realtors, lenders, builders, developers, residential or commercial, essentially gathering insight, inspiration. It really drives and motivates these top producers above and beyond everybody else in what I'd like to consider a real estate titan. Our very special guest and featured titan for today, Jennifer Browne. Jennifer, thanks so much for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Really appreciate you taking the time. I know there's a lot of buzz about this episode. I'm super excited to run through the questions just so everybody can get to know who you are as a person and professional.
Thank you.
So if it's cool, let's just dive right in.
You bet.
So let's just start with the very beginning and telling everybody a little bit about yourself.
Well, so I am a native of Colorado Springs.
Okay.
I moved away for about 6 months and we'll never do that again.
Okay.
Loved it here. You know, I've grown up here. A lot of my friends have left and nobody wanted to stay here, but I love it here.
Wow.
My whole family's here, obviously. I have a wonderful husband and my little guy.
Awesome.
Hi, little bus. He
Hey, bud.
wanted mommy to say hi. So, but, you know, I just love it here. My whole family's here. I've grown up here. I've just got so many friends. You know, I've been in real estate I've been licensed for 5 years.
Okay.
So prior to that, I worked for my broker owner, Dave Kircher, and I was his short sale coordinator for about 1.5 years.
Okay.
So I helped him manage a lot of stuff from home, and then I kind of was like, you know, I kind of want to do this. And then I decided to do my real estate class online. I'm not an online class person, so
Okay.
I was like, okay, I need to go sit in the class and do this. But I
Right.
took a couple years, went and did some other work. I was an instructor at Colorado Technical University for 6
Oh.
years as well, so I taught college students as well.
Huh.
I was an analyst for a couple years, and then I said, you know what, I just can't stop thinking about real estate. So something my sister and I have always done since we were young was, let's go look at the models, let's go see how they decorate, let's see what's new. I mean, we were always in the homes. And so I decided, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to jump right in. And so I've been licensed a little over 5 years now.
Wow, that's crazy. I mean, the progression of what's going on. What was you mentioned Dave, so shout out to Dave if you're
Hi,
watching, a fellow Titan. So what initially got you into the business? What was that breaking point or the say, you know, I want to do this? And then what did your career look like in the past 5 years?
You know, and like I said, working for Dave was really helpful because at the time when I was working for him, it was 2009 to 2010.
Okay.
So it's when the market crashed and there was a lot of short sales going on. And so there wasn't a lot of agents in town that were dealing with the short sales. And Dave took it upon himself and was like, okay, let's dive right in.
Right.
And so he's been a family friend for a while. And so when, you know, I quit with my last job,
Yeah.
he was like, hey, do you want to help? And I'm like, sure. And so getting in and kind of learning the fine details of kind of being an assistant and coordinating all that sort of stuff, touching base with the buyers, touching base with the sellers, I love that because I love providing customer service aspect of it.
Okay.
So that really kind of pushed me. And then I was like, hey, let me go around with you to show houses and do that sort of stuff. And I was just like, you know, I could do this. So, and then things didn't work out and I just didn't finish the real estate school at the time.
Okay.
And then I was like, I just can't stop thinking about it. So, you know, and like I said, for years, my sister and I would always go and check out the models and we'd be
Sure.
like, hey, let's just go do this. And so it's always been something that's interesting to me, but I love being able to provide the good customer service to my clients.
That's a beautiful note for a lot of people to take care of is that you guys are not all created equal. It doesn't matter if you're new or seasoned, you know, young and old. It doesn't matter where you come from or what you do. Not everybody's created equal, and it's through that additional customer service and passion that you have that really, really separates you from so many, and you've had such success in a shorter period of time. You know, for everybody out there who knows it's not, you know, oh, I need to be in the business for 40 years.
Right.
Just because you've been doing it a long time doesn't mean you're the best at what you do.
Right.
And just because you're newer doesn't mean you're not qualified. So I think that really, really speaks volumes. But something that I think that really hits out is a good segue into your why. You know?
Yeah.
So really, what gets you out of bed in the morning? What makes you do what you do to the level you do it at?
You know, my family is very important to me.
Okay.
My husband, my son. So obviously, you know, I always want to succeed and do the best that I can because I want to make them proud of me as well.
Right.
My dad, hi dad, and my family in general.
Okay.
But aside from that, I'm just, I've grown up in a blue collar background.
Mhm.
I worked concrete with my dad for 2 years coming out of high school. So, I've always just been ingrained that if you work hard, you can get things.
Sure.
I raced BMX bikes my whole life.
No
So
way.
I raced against boys all the time and
Great.
beat them all the time, and they hated me. If you're out there. But I just really was ingrained to work hard. And if
Okay.
you want something, go get it. And so I've always had that personality, and that's how I felt when I decided to go into real estate. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to give everything I've got into it, and I'm going to make it the best I can. And so I think if you come in and, whether you have failures or not, that's okay.
Sure.
Learn from those failures. Like I kind of felt like I failed in theory my first year, which I didn't do bad, but I just didn't feel like it was the best of what I had set for my goals.
Okay.
So I had to kind of re-look back at that and say, okay, what can I do differently? And then change that business model a little bit and go from there. But, it's okay to jump into new things and try new things. And it's okay to fail, but you just got to be able to learn from that and take that feedback, whatever way it looks like, and move past it.
Wow, that's huge. And hopefully a lot of people are understanding what you're saying is just go for it. There's a lot of thought process for other Titans to constantly fail forward.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay.
Yep.
And this has been thrown around a ton of times. It's not, it doesn't matter how many times you fall down, it's how many times you get back up.
Right.
So it's a part of success is a huge part of failure. And
Exactly.
so that's a great message for everybody to hear. So
Yep.
Thanks for sharing that for sure. So let's go into the advisory portion of this. So some seasoned professionals or some newer professionals that are watching this series, to give them a few bits and pieces of your success and what you've done for your business. So
Okay.
if you could go back and take a look at what you've done in your career thus far, pick or choose one or two things that you might have added to your business that took it from one level to the next, what does that look like for you?
Couple things.
Okay.
So the biggest thing that I would say, especially for new agents coming into the business, is really, really focus on training. Learning what you can. My first 6 months, I did one deal. I made $1,500.
Yeah.
And I spent a lot of money, but that was okay.
This is real, everybody.
It's real.
It's real.
But the flip side of that, I said, okay, I'm going to grind, but in the meantime, I'm going to take any classes I can.
Sure.
I took everything I could. Online, at Empire, at Unified, wherever it was.
Sure.
So, and I felt that was really valuable. And a lot of new agents that I talk to now, I tell them the same thing. If you've got some downtime, sign up for some classes.
Great.
And the reason I think that's important is because not only are you going to learn that in the classroom environment, but then when it comes along, you're going to go, oh, and that's going to be very powerful for your confidence level as well. Because once you do something once, and then you've kind of felt it in the back of your head, you're going to go, oh, that's okay. And then you're going to feel better about it. So that is kind of the big thing that I started out doing.
Okay.
Aside from that, I really just want to take good care of my clients. And kind of one of my mottos and mantras, if you will, is helping my clients all the way through and holding their hand all the way through.
Wow.
And so I'm not that agent that's like, hey, we're under contract, great, talk to you in about 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah. Sure.
That's not me. And so I touch base with my clients every couple days.
Okay.
Even if there's nothing going on, we still, hey, just checking in, haven't heard anything, we're still waiting on appraisal, whatever the case may be. So they don't feel like, what's going on? Is something wrong? I don't know. And so that's really important to me. And I've formed a ton of relationships with my clients. And usually at the end of the deals, we kind of joke and I say, it's kind of going to feel like a breakup.
Okay.
And you can talk to a lot of my clients and they're like, yeah, it kind of is. We miss you because we talk so much, and not just about real estate stuff, but about life.
Okay.
And that's really important for me to care about everything that's going on with them. And it's because that's important to what they need in a house.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, and you're forging so many beautiful relationships that way by doing it the right way. You're not looking at a churn and burn sort of scenario. You're really forging a legacy, and you're helping these people, genuine nature. And I think that the two takeaways that I pull from that is being real and being helpful. I think that's extremely important, and being consistent with that. But then, like you said, consistently educating yourself and learn from everywhere. The top producers worldwide, they never stop learning.
Exactly.
They never know it all. They keep growing. So I think for everybody out there, that's really, really good nugget. So hopefully you guys wrote that down.
Mm-hmm.
Take advantage of every education opportunity that you can and constantly learn and grow. So let's go into the next question. This is the tricky one. And it really gives everybody a window into who you are as a person, as a professional, and it's the challenge question. So we all deal with challenges in our lives, whether it's in the past, now, or in the future. But it's not so much what happens, but how we respond and overcome that really makes the difference. So, Jennifer, if you could share a challenge that you dealt with in your life that you overcame and you became stronger because of it. What does that look like for you?
I probably would refer to when my grandma passed away 15 years ago. She was like a mom to me. I mean, obviously she's my grandma, but so much of what I do today comes from her. And obviously that was a hard hitter because, she had cancer and, it was really rough. And I stayed with her and my grandpa for a couple of weeks before she passed. And, we were all there together as a family. And it was hard for me, but, she lives on through me today. And so much that I do. I talked at her memorial service, which, was helpful. So I could just relate to her. I love you. I miss you. But, so much of what I do today comes from her. I love the holidays. I am a nut when it comes to Halloween decorations and Christmas decorations. Awesome. And I love celebrating with family. And, that comes from her and that German background of family and food and fun, essentially. And so I miss her. Yeah. But that was one of the biggest kind of challenges at the time in my life that really made me say, she's gone, but I can still have her live through me. Yeah. And so I still do a lot of that stuff that she instilled in me as a kid.
And thanks for sharing that. It's not easy to do. Right. That when it comes down to it, and we've had several different examples on this series, when it comes to challenges, and I feel that family loss got to be the worst one that you deal with, and a lot of people can relate to that, losing family members and friends and things along those lines. But I love your attitude towards it. Yes, it's sad, and we wish we had these people that we love back in our lives, but they're living on through you. Right. And the representation that you have. So I guess that no matter what we're dealing with, just remember them for what they're great at and what you really love, and just project that out.
Yep. Remember all the good stuff.
Yeah. And remind other people and bring on those legacies. I think that's beautiful. So, thanks for sharing that, because that's not easy. But I think another message to that when it comes to family loss is at least for me specifically, is make sure that you're spending time with people who you love and care, and say I love you, and make sure that you are in the right place at the right time and having your priorities straight. As professionals, we all get so busy and so wrapped up.
Well, and one of the things that one of my good friends actually that married us said, he said, it's not about the quantity of time you spend together, it's about the quality. And that's always kind of stuck with me, because you know what, even if we've got a couple hours, sometimes I'm on my phone and my husband's like, off your phone.
Come on, let's go on.
But, you just make it the best you can be. So it's not that you have to spend 4 or 5 days together, but, if you've got 2 hours, spend the 2 hours.
Right.
And, sometimes it's hard to when we're busy, but I try to keep reminding myself to do that.
I love it. Love it. Good stuff, everybody. So, okay, let's go into a slightly softer question. Let everybody breathe a little bit here. And this is actually one of my favorites. So if you could go back in time and give your younger self a piece of advice, what would you say to young Jennifer?
A couple things. I think one thing I would say is stay true to yourself. And not that I haven't been, because I've got a genuinely strong personality anyway. But really kind of stay in tune with your gut feelings. I think that's a big thing. So if you feel like something's not right, figure it out and maybe don't do it. And I tell my clients that a lot too. If something doesn't feel right here, don't force it. Maybe this isn't the right house for you. We can find something else. Right. Secondly, I think sometimes I would tell myself to be patient, but still stay aggressive. Because sometimes I'm just not the type of person that can sit still easily. I've got to go. I don't function without chaos is usually what I say.
Perfect industry right here, real estate. Yeah.
So, be patient, but stay aggressive, especially for new agents. You've got to be patient that stuff will hit at some point, but you also have to be aggressive. And so, keeping kind of that balance might be hard, but especially in this industry, I think that's really important.
I love it. I think that's great, and so many different things for people to take away. Not just your younger self, but everybody out watching. I think they can really take that to heart. That's so important. It really, really is. So thank you for sharing that. Hopefully everybody got that one down. That's really, really good stuff. So let's go into the next portion of this, and this is kind of the what I consider the feeding of the mind question. So there's a lot of viewers who watch this series that really enjoy that part. What are the Titans feeding their minds to grow and be who they are? So if you could look at kind of what you're feeding your mind from books to podcasts to influencers on social media or coaches, what are you feeding your mind?
Okay. Well, I'll be honest, I've only been on Facebook for about 6 months, so
Okay.
that's kind of been a big deal for me.
Brand
But
new,
I'm doing
everybody.
pretty good.
Yeah.
I really try to take a lot of it in.
Okay.
I try to read a lot of stuff that I see on there, good, bad, or ugly,
Sure.
because it'll influence you in some way, shape, or form.
Agreed.
Aside from that, right now I'm reading a book that actually one of my lenders gave me, Rick Ward.
Oh, great.
And
Another fellow Titan. Hey,
yes,
Rick.
and it's called Agent Mastermind. And
Okay.
he gave me that book, and I only have a few pages left to it, but it's a really good book because it allows you to figure out kind of what your niche is, especially in real estate.
Okay.
So do you want to go after only buyers? Do you want to only go after sellers? Do you want to go after the probate or estate industry? Or there's so many different things that you can do depending on what you feel like your niche is. So that's a really valuable book.
Love it.
And then obviously I love Fixer Upper and Magnolia, of course, everybody
Okay.
does. So, and actually right now I'm reading Chip Gaines' latest book.
Oh, great.
So, but yeah, I try to just kind of take everything in
Okay.
and, filter it to how I need it.
I love that, and there's so many different ways, as everybody knows out and watching this. I mean, to consume the information, as long as you're doing it and you're constantly learning, that's the goal.
It is.
So, but as always, I'm going to list those in the comments down below so everybody can follow along and read and educate themselves the same way that you are, which is really, really cool. So this has been chock full of information, super, super good stuff. So hopefully everybody's really, really digging this one. But last question to kind of wrap everything up and sum you up as a person, as a brand, as a professional, an individual. If you could pick a quote or a mantra that you live by, what does that look like for Jennifer Browne?
Mine, I think, is going to be treat people the way you want to be treated. I just feel like customer service lacks at times.
Yeah.
And I want to treat people the way I want to get, something back from them.
Sure.
And I think that's just really important, especially in real estate as well, because I want to make sure that I'm the agent that I would want for my clients as well.
It's simple, and to me that's one of the classic ways to look at life. So many people don't, and it's sad. So you heard it here first, everybody. That is beautiful, and I think it wraps everything up really, really nicely. So Jennifer, thanks again for taking the time. You are an official Real Estate Titan.
Thanks for helping.
So yes, thanks so much. Everybody, thanks again so much for your time and attention. Really love your support and appreciate it. So live every Tuesday, Friday afternoon, different Titan, different location. We'll catch you guys in the next live episode of Real Estate Titans. Take care.